Hello friends, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Manoj Chaudhary and here we are taking a quick revision of mathematical logic from the 12th standard. Okay, so in mathematical logic, one very important thing is there, that is a statement. So there is a huge difference between sentence and a statement. Sentence can be anything, with or without meaning. But as far as statement is concerned, it must have only one value. Either it is 100% true or it is 100% false, but not both simultaneously. It cannot be both simultaneously. A statement in logic must be 100% true or 100% false, but it cannot be both simultaneously. And here you have to note down, few sentences from the English are never considered as a statement in mathematics. The first one is interrogative. We can say it's a question mark. The second one is exclamatory mark. So sentences with this are never considered as statement in mathematics. The third one, in which you gives certain order, or we can say a request. And the fifth one, which is very important, is open sentence. So what is open sentence? Open sentence is partially true and partially false. So we can say it's a partially true or partially false statement. Means in few cases it gives you outcome true and in few cases it gives you false. For example, if I say x plus 5 is 7. So if x plus 5 is 7, then it is true for 5. It is true for x equal to 2. So it is true for 2, but if you consider these 3, then in that case it is false. So same statement, but in certain case it gives you true, in certain case it gives you false, but a statement is either 100% true or 100% false. So this kind of partially correct sentences are called open sentences, and open sentences are never considered as statement in mathematics. So please understand friends, a statement is 100% true or 100% false, cannot be both simultaneously. So these number of cases cannot be considered as a statement in mathematics. A question which is asked, exclamatory mark, a sentence in which order is given, or a sentence in which a request is there, or very important one, a open sentence which is sometimes partially true or partially false, are never considered as statement in mathematics. Now there are you can find one statement, two statements or three statements in the final statement pattern. So if there is only one statement pattern, let's say P is one of the statement. If there is only one statement pattern, then it must have either true or false value. Means there are only two possible outcomes if there is only one statement. If for only one statement, only two possible outcomes, either true or false. If there are two statement patterns, then there will be a different story. If there are two statements involved, let's say P and Q, then the possible combination are double T double F or TF TF. What is the meaning of this? If I give you two separate statements P and Q, then first one might be true or second one might be true. So both the statement might be true. Then first one is true, second may be false. First one is false, second may be true, or both statements can be false. So these many possible combinations are there if they give you two simultaneous statements P and Q. What if they provide you three simultaneous statements P, Q and R? Then the story is different. So outcomes are 4 times T, 4 times F. Then for the Q it's a double T, double F, double T, double F. For R it is alternate TF, 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 TF. So understand friends, so in examination you might will face a one single statement or two statements or three statement patterns. If there is only one statement, outcome is true false. For the two statements double T, double F, TF, TF. If there are 3 statement patterns, the so many number of possible combinations there, total 8. 4 times T, 4 times F under this P, 2 times T, 2 times F, 2 times T, 2 times F under this Q, and for R it's alternate TF, TF, TF and TF. So just check whether one statement pattern is there or 2 or 3. So they might will provide you one statement, 2 statements or 3 statements in mathematical logic. Okay, then what is a compound statements? The next one is compound statements. So what is a compound statement? It may contain 2 or more than 2 individual statements like P and Q joined with the connectives. So what are the connectives that we already know? The first connective is conjunction. Conjunction, which is called and. Symbolically we denote it by and. So conjunction is like a P and Q symbolically, right? So conjunction means and. The second one is disjunction. Disjunction means or. We denote it by or. The statement pattern looks like P or Q. Then third one is conditional. Conditional statement is also called implication. It is also called implication and we denote it by if then. The phrase is if then. Symbolically it is denoted by single-headed arrow, and as far as symbol is concerned you have to read it as if P. Read it as if P then Q. So this is the way that you have to read if P then Q. So this is conditional or implication. And the fourth one is called biconditional. Biconditional, it is also called double implication. It is also called double implication. Double implication, vertically it is IFF. In short, this is also called IFF or if and only if. If and only if. So symbolically it is denoted in this way, a double-headed arrow between P and Q, and you have to read in this way P if and only if Q. So somewhere you have to read IFF over here. So read it in this way P if and only if Q. So this many number of compound statement you might will face in this particular chapter. Conjunction means and, disjunction means or, conditional means if then, and biconditional means if and only if. These are the notations and this might be a final statement pattern. So there is one more thing, but which is not a compound statement, but we say it's a negation. So negation, the role of the negation is to convert true into false and false into true. If a statement is P, if entries are true and false, then its negation means true becomes false and false becomes true. We cannot say negation is a compound statement, but it is a one type that you might will face in this chapter. So please remember, negation means just you have to change the statement pattern true to false and false to true. Now, after studying this compound statement, let's see the truth table for this compound statement. So, let's see the truth table or the statement pattern for this. So if for the sake of simplicity, let's consider 2 statement patterns, because most of the time you will face 2 individual statements in the paper. So 2 statements means double T, double F, TF, TF is the possibility. Okay, let's see the truth table for the first connective and. So it's a P and Q. So always remember friends, and is a very strict statement. It is a very, very strict statement. If both the statement pattern are true, then and then only it is true. In rest of all the cases, it is false. If you see one false in the and statement, final outcome is always false. So there is a false present, answer is false. There is a false present, answer is false. There is a false present, answer is false. So remember in this way, if both the statement patterns are true, then the AND gives true. What about OR? So P or Q. OR is a soft statement. So it requires only one true. Both the statement true, outcome is true. Only one true is present, it is okay, answer is true. Even though one true is present, it is okay, answer is true. But if the two false are there, then OR statement gives you false answer. Then the next one is very important for the objective examination. P then Q. P then Q. For the P then Q, you have to remember this special entry. If first one is true and second one is false. If the first statement is true, second statement is false, then only it is false. In rest of any other combination, it gives you true answer. So always remember this entry in case of if-then statement. First one is true, second one is false, then the answer is false. And the last one, friends, biconditional statement. In biconditional statement itself, this arrow indicates it's a two-headed arrow. So if both the entries are same, double T leads to T, double F leads to T. So right, if both the entries are similar, then it gives you true. If the entries are dissimilar, then its outcome is false. Just remember this truth table. In order to solve the problems, you might will face problem of creating a truth table for a statement or proving a logical equivalence in the statement pattern, or you might will face an article on tautology. So what is tautology? So tautology means whenever you will solve the entire truth table, in the final answer all the entries under the final statement pattern are true. So all true. Whenever you will prepare a truth table for the given statement pattern, and if all the entries in the final statement pattern are true, then it is called tautology. Second one is contradiction. If all the entries after preparing truth table for a statement pattern are false, then it is called contradiction. And the third case is contingency. So what is a contingency? If there are mixed entries of true and false, so you might will face few entries true, few entries false under given statement pattern, then it is called contingency, or contingency is also called neither tautology nor contradiction, right? So it is also called neither tautology nor contradiction. So there are three cases that might you will face after preparing a truth table. If all the entries are true under a given statement pattern, it is called tautology. If all the entries under given statement pattern are false, then it is called contradiction. And if you find a mixed entries under a truth table, then it is a contingency, or which is also called neither tautology nor contradiction. Okay, the next article is quantifiers. So what are the quantifiers? There are two types of quantifiers. One is universal quantifier and second one is existential quantifier. So universal quantifier we denote it by this symbol, and existential quantifier we denote it by this symbol, right? So universal quantifier represents all in logical statement pattern, or existential quantifier represents some in that logical statement. For example, all x belongs to natural number are positive. See, now I can use instead of all this symbol. So all x belongs to natural number are positive, while some x belongs to the integer are positive. So all integers are not positive. So some integers are positive. So we can say it's a some integers are positive, or all natural numbers are positive. So it depends on whether it is a requirement for all or some. If it is a requirement of all, use universal quantifier. If it is a requirement of some, use this existential quantifier. It's a very simple article. Okay, the next one is dual of a statement. How to obtain dual of a statement. So friends, dual of a statement is obtained by replacing, you have to replace and by or by and, true by false, false by true, or tautology by contradiction, or contradiction by tautology. So dual of a statement is simply obtained by replacing and by or by and, true by false, false by true, tautology by contradiction, or contradiction by tautology. Just make this. So one very important note, this negation has no role in dual of a statement. So it has nothing to do with the dual of a statement. If you find a negation in a dual, keep this thing as it is, right? Okay, then the next article is conditional, converse, inverse and contrapositive. Very important, very interesting article. Conditional, then converse, then inverse, and the last one is contrapositive. So what is a conditional statement? You already know. This P then Q is called conditional statement. If you revert this entry in this way, it's a Q then P is called converse of the statement. Then what is inverse? Negation of P then negation of Q is called inverse of the statement. And what is contrapositive? Negation of Q then negation of P is called contrapositive. So friends, this article belongs to the conditional statement. If this is the conditional statement, then this is its converse. Then this one is called the inverse of this conditional statement, and this thing is called contrapositive of this conditional statement. So always remember, conditional and contrapositive are logically equivalent, and converse and inverse are also logically equivalent. So the note number 1, conditional and contrapositive are logically equivalent statement. Then converse and inverse are also logically equivalent. Logically equivalent means if you find a truth table, or if you draw a truth table for this, or prepare a truth table for this. Sorry friends, if you prepare a truth table for this, then you will find this all the entries under conditional and contrapositive are same, and all the entries under converse and inverse are same. So always remember, its outcome or the logical meaning of conditional and contrapositive are same, and converse and inverse are same as far as logical meaning is concerned. Okay, then the next and very important article is about finding negation of compound statements. This is very important article for objective examination. How to find negation of compound statement. Let's find the first one, negation of P and Q, and negation of P or Q. Logically they are same. See, while finding the negation of and, convert this into or. While finding the negation of or, convert this into and. And please apply individual negations. So negation of P or negation of Q. In this case, it's a negation of P and negation of Q. So always remember, while finding negation of and or negation of or, do a simple thing, and becomes or becomes and now please apply the individual negation to the statement. These two are called De Morgan's laws. De Morgan's laws. Okay, then the next negation is negation of P then Q. So negation of P then Q is always P and negation of Q. So you have to remember this in this way. This is the first statement pattern, this is the second statement, and the final answer is always first as it is, but the negation of second. So always remember this one as a formula. Negation of P then Q is P and negation of Q. It's like a P and negation of Q. And the last one in the list, is negation of P by conditional Q. So outcome is P and negation of Q or Q and negation of P. So finding a negation means logically creating an inverted statement, or true becomes false or false becomes true. But this is about finding the negation of the compound statements. So negation of and, negation of or, negation of if then, or negation of biconditional statement if and only if. And one more, what if it's a negation of a statement? Then if you take the negation of the two times negation to the same statement, answer is the statement itself. And lastly is two important things. What is the negation of quantifier, a universal quantifier with the statement P? So always remember this all becomes sum and find the negation of P. So always remember this all becomes sum and then negation of P. Or if you want the negation of sum P, this is sum. So sum becomes all, and then negation of P. So this is a very important article for finding the negation of the compound statement. These are not the compound statement, but you have to remember these simple results also. So friends, this one is a very important article, finding negation of the compound statements. Okay, then the last article from this chapter was all about the switching circuit and its simplification. So application of logic to switching circuit. In switching circuit, you might will face two types of arrangements. One is called series arrangement. In series arrangement, you will see two switches in series, means one after the other. Let's consider first switch as a P, second switch as a Q. So in this case, to represent the switches in series, always remember it is a concept of AND, or represented by AND. But what if switches are present in parallel? So parallel means this alternate arrangement like this one. So if the two switches are in parallel, so assuming S1 as a P, S2 as a Q, if two switches are in parallel, we always represent it by OR. So it's a very simple article creating a statement pattern for the given switching circuit. Always remember, if the switches are in series, put AND. If the switches are in parallel, just put OR statement. You might will face a problem of writing a statement for the given switching circuit, or from the given statement you have to draw the switching circuit patterns. So these problems are also important for the examination. But what is more important for your final examination is these laws. These laws to simplify the switching circuit. To simplify switching circuit. Very, very important article. So let me revise one by one the various laws that we use to simplify a given switching circuit. The first one is called commutative law. P and Q is logically equivalent to Q and P. It is almost like this thing. So right, the second one is also same for the Q. P or Q is also equal to Q or P. These two are called commutative laws. So commutative law means this thing in AND and OR. So P and Q is logically equivalent to Q and P. This P or Q is logically equivalent to Q or P. Then second one is associative law. What if you find two or AND statements? See, there is no meaning of the preference. So which two statements you have to give the preference? See, as far as same symbol is concerned, you can give preference to any two statements for the calculation purpose. So P and Q and R, you can mention it even in this way, P and Q and R. See, what I am trying to tell you, whenever the statements are present with the same connective, we can give preference to any two connectives. So any two statements, either QR or PQ, it doesn't matter at all. So if it is P or Q or R, the same story again, friends. There are two OR statements. So The associative law is quite simple. The bracket preference never matters in same operation. You can switch over the bracket. So it's a P or Q or R. So you can switch the brackets if same type of operation is there. This is called associative law. The third one is distributive law. P and Q or R. We can simply distribute or multiply this term inside the bracket. So it's a P and Q or P and R. This is called distributive law. One more, P or Q and R. Even this also we can distribute inside the bracket. It's a P or Q and P or R. It's like ordinary multiplication in mathematics. The first one is called associative law. The second one is called first one is called commutative law. First one is called commutative law, second one is called associative law, and the third one is called distributive law. So what is the fourth one? So let me explain you idempotent law. So P and P and P or P. So a statement and a same statement again. So understand this, a statement and a statement. It's almost like you are putting and between the two similar statements, or you are putting or between the two similar statements. Outcome is the statement itself. Read it in this way, statement and same statement is a statement. Statement or same statement is also statement. So it's an idempotent law. Then the fifth one. Fifth one is complementary laws. What if a statement and its negation is connected? This is the statement, this is its negation, and we are joining them with the and you know that its answer is always false. Answer is false. So it's like a statement and negation of the same statement results in false. Very important formula for the switching circuit simplification. The second one is what we attach statement or negation of the statement. So if you attach a statement or its negation, then it always results in tautology. You will find all the entries to be true. Then it might be you will face in this way, it's like a statement or negation of statement. Statement and its negation joined by the or always gives you tautology, or all entries are true. So complementary laws. Then sixth one, friends, sixth one is all about identity laws. So very simple, what is statement and T? Statement and T is P. What is statement or T is always T, because and is a strict statement. It cannot give you a tautology. It depends on P. So final answer is P. Or is a soft statement. If you find one true, outcome is true. Then what if it is P and F? So understand, friends, and is a very strict statement. If you find any false entry, there is no meaning for the P. Outcome is always false. And what if it is P and or P or F? Understand, or is a soft statement. It never depends on the false. It depends on the value of P. Answer is P. So this particular entries or these formulas are called identity laws in switching circuits. Okay, the next thing is, the next one and the important one is absorption law. So it's a P and P or Q. Try to understand, this is called absorption law. Here you will find and or combination, and answer you have to remember in this way, the statement which got repeated. Here the statement P is repeated, so answer is always P. So there is one more absorption law, P or P and Q. So if you observe, there is a or and combination similar like this one, but the repeated part is P, which is your final answer. If you want, you can confirm this result by forming a logical table. So then eighth one. So eighth one is, there are few statements which are logically equivalent in logic. So or their meanings are same, or we can say their truth table entries are same. Always remember, P then Q is logically equivalent to negation of P or Q, and P by conditional Q is also logically equivalent to negation of P or Q and negation of Q or P, or it is also logically equivalent to P then Q and Q then P. You can confirm these results by drawing a entire logical table or truth table. Just prepare a truth table to confirm left hand side and right hand side for this. So these are the logical statements which are always equivalent. And the ninth one, which is very important one, is negation of P and Q is negation of P or negation of Q. Negation of P or Q is also negation of P and negation of Q. Friends, we already discussed these two results as a De Morgan's law in negation, but they also required for the simplification of the switching circuits. So friends, this quick revision is helpful to those students who already prepared the theoretical part of it. So I am requesting you, please revise this entire chapter, solve few problems, and then watch these quick revision videos. It will definitely help you in board examinations as well as for your objective examinations. I hope you enjoyed this quick revision video. Thanks for watching, and please share with your friends also. Thank you friends. Thanks for watching this YouTube video. I'm really thankful to you. Thanks, and I'm signing off.